Hi, I'm Philip, and you might already have seen it. So I initially had a look at the 3DMakerPro Raven Lidar scanner at Formnext. So at Formnext, I would call it, still a prototype, and there wasn't like any actual information about the specs out there. But now there are specs. There are like the first scan examples or scan previews. So I thought maybe it's time to make a short follow-up about like the current state of what we know about Raven and where I would personally put the performance and like the relative comparison of the Raven. So let's close the picture and let's look at the pricing first. So when I saw the Raven at Formnext, like the people at the booth were quite happy about like it being like a sub-$1,000 scanner or LiDAR scanner, but I guess this is only partly true. So if you now look here, so there's like a Raven version with a single camera and a Raven version with a dual camera. This is quite similar to the original Eagle scanner, with the difference that the original one had 4 cameras, but now the Pro version only has 2 of the Raven, or the Max version, how it is called. And there's still like differences. So for the normal one, of course, we have this like $999 price tag, which is a super early bird price, and I guess it also won't include taxes. Normally, like the advertised prices don't include the tax. So, for example, in Germany, if I would calculate with the conversion rate to euro, it's something like 850 euro plus 19% taxes. And also, like the normal early bird price here is $1,100. I guess the regular pricing, like not early bird, will then be like 200 euros higher, maybe. It could also be more. This is now maybe a bit of a second gen product. So normally these manufacturers, like the first gen product, will be offered quite a steep discount initially to simply push it in the market. But now with the second gen, I don't think the difference will be so vast between like this pre-order price and the actual pricing. And then there's of course the max price, or the Raven Max with like the dual cameras. I think the dual cameras, they are mainly used for like 3GS, Gaussian splats. And the pricing is like the early bird price, the regular one is $1,500, and the early bird price with the RTK unit for like GPS positioning and GPS tracking while scanning is $2,000. This still sounds fair. So, short addition to the pricing, I've just had a look at the 3DMakerPro website again, and they actually put up how much you're saving, and it's more than I thought. Well, I don't know, it's a good thing now. So you're getting roughly 40% off. So for the cheapest version, after the early bird pricing, you're paying $1,700, and for the max version with the RTK unit, you're seeing $3,500. So roughly comparable. So for the top price version, roughly comparable to the Eagle Max in sale around like Christmas sale. So currently there is like, if you want another or the next cheapest LiDAR scanner with RTK is basically also the Eagle. And maybe you know or you have heard or you have experienced it. The Eagle still doesn't support RTK properly until now. So from my latest knowledge, but maybe this is also changed by now with firmware updates, but I'm a bit hesitant. So also with like the Eagle Max with its 4 cameras, they were advertised as like, I think 48 megapixels, 48 megapixel camera. And the actual output images that came out were like 0.9 megapixels. So yeah, let's see how it will stand up. But now this is like the initial pricing now. I guess retail price maybe 200 euros higher. But now let's look at the performance. So this is the spec sheet of the Raven. And there are, yeah, some interesting things, I would say. So, of course, the first one is the accuracy. So it's stated here, 2 centimeters at 10 meters, 3 centimeters at 20 meters, and 5 centimeters at 40 meters. And this is basically exactly the same as with the regional, as with the Eagle. So here we have this. Now let's make it a bit larger. Now let's look at the specs of the Eagle. So here also have like exactly the same settings. What's now also interesting, the scan radius. So not the the diameter of the dome you can scan, but radius is like a maximum of 50 meters. So 100 meter of diameter, whereas on the Eagle it's up to 70 meters. What's also quite noticeable, the Eagle is using like the standard LiVox 360 mid LiDAR unit. So I guess it's the LiVox 360 mid, but I would think it's like this one. This is also used by, I would say, all major competitors in this price range. So we have like the Share scanners, also roughly at this price point with the S20, we have the S20 SE, we have the Share C1, and this also uses the LiVox scanner or LiVox LiDAR unit. So I guess it will be like a more budget version on the on the Raven, but we will see. Also, the point cloud frequency is only 150,000 points per second, whereas on the Eagle or with the LiVox unit, it's 200,000 points per second. One person actually made me aware to something, that on the LiVox scanner used in the Eagle or used in the Share scanners, the pattern, the scan lines of the LiDAR, if I can call it like this, are like a random rows pattern. LiVox is actually advertising this. It's like a good feature. Whereas from my first testing at Formnext, it seems like it's all just drawing lines on the Raven. But maybe this changes, or this isn't the final version. I don't exactly know. For color texture, we have like the 12 megapixel cameras. I would say this is like default now for scanners or for LiDARs. And of course, in the max version, we have the 2 camera setup we see here. And the default versions, we have the 1 camera setup. What would be interesting now is if this camera is, or the front-facing camera is also used for like video slam or VSlam. So on the higher price scanners, for example, the Share S20, there's like a third camera here in front. You see it a bit here in this picture. This small hole. There are video feed assists the tracking. On the cheaper versions like the Share S20 SE or the Share C1, this is not the case. But I would guess it's not the case and it's not used for this. Then we have like a bit larger screen than on the Eagle with like now 3.5 inches, and we have like a vast amount of extension support. So we have like the RTK expansion kit that's supposedly like included in the Max version with the RTK version of the Max. It would now be interesting if it's compatible for all the models. The wording suggests so, and it could be. Then, of course, you could also add an Insta X4, X5 expansion cam. There's like a 360 camera for Gaussian splatting. And the output formats here, like also like point cloud PLYs, Gaussian splatting PLYs. What's now very interesting for me, or what we will see actually, is like the performance of Gaussian splatting. So with the Eagle, there were from the beginning problems with Gaussian splatting. It didn't work basically. With like the recent updates, it got better, but I would say it's still it's stuck at like a bit of a gimmicky state, but maybe this now improved with the Raven. And also like 8 cores, 2.5 gigahertz speed. And that's basically the same here in the Eagle. I wouldn't be surprised if it's internally the same SoC. Regarding scan performance, this may be the most interesting one with the Raven. And I've actually found the demonstration that may show it to some degree or may give us a feeling. So here this is like the official advertisement video of the Raven here on Facebook, but I would say launched it. And with the Eagle initially, there were like a lot of tests out there, a lot of videos where the walls were a bit mushy. So the wall density, which is always a bit of a quality indicator of a LiDAR scanner, performance indicator. So for example, here with the Share C1 scanner on Kickstarter, I actually backed the Share C1. It hopefully should arrive by end of this month. They advertised the point cloud thickness of a wall. Basically, it's the point cloud thickness of a wall within 0.1 centimeters. On the Eagle, it was always bigger. So we can actually have a look. So I've just seen a great example. ShareUAV. Sorry. Oh, it's called Share 3DCam official community. Here we go. It's this one, and a person just posted one of the tests, and this is quite a good indicator. So this is basically a cross section of a 3D scanned home, and the top we have a scan with the Share C1. So some luckier people out there already received the C1, and there we see like the point cloud thickness of the wall is very thin. And here in the bottom we have the Eagle. So I would say this is a factor 3 to 4, maybe 5 larger. And this is well, so it's harder to actually measure the distances, for example, of the walls, or now try to create a sketch of the floor plan on this scan. And then a very thin wall thickness will be quite beneficial. And from what I'm seeing here with the Raven, they are using an inferior LiDAR unit. Also like the price point indicates this. So the original Eagle, if we have a look at it again, it's priced currently at like 5,000 euros and still sold. So keep this in mind, it's still sold. It's not officially discontinued. Whereas here on the Raven, we have we have lower point cloud speed or lower scanning speed. We have a lower total scan range, which could of course also be like a reason for lower accuracy to some degree, or worse tracking maybe. And supposedly also the pattern or the scan behavior of this LiDAR unit may be inferior, but it should be seen. And maybe this video will show us a bit of the performance. So this was just the background. So this is like a typical use case, I would call it, for such a LiDAR unit. It's creating interior scans or as-built scans. And you can see like the marketing. But now the interesting one, if they are now moving indoors or just like going in there, it looks very mushy. It could of course be the bandwidth of the video, but maybe let's zoom out and it may actually work better now. So I'm not totally convinced of the quality. So you can see here like none of it, like the stairs aren't well defined. Let's pause. The stairs aren't well defined. The shelves aren't well defined. This could of course be an indicator of the video, but we will see. And maybe let's put now the Raven a bit into comparison of what's also out there. So what's like the competition? Of course, there's the original Eagle, and I personally hope it will perform better than the Eagle, but I am a bit skeptical. then I would call as the current top competitor in the same price range to some degree is the Share C1 scanner. So there's already a lot of testing out there of like Pio, if you know him, like Pio Tensor Creator. He's doing like quite a lot of very good testing of 3D scanners, LiDAR scanners recently. And like the real world performance is very, very good of this scanner, especially for the price point. So this was like the Kickstarter pricing. So I got mine on Kickstarter for €1,900, including like import duties. So this is like the total take-home price for me. The supposed MSRP is at €4,000. I think it will settle a bit below because there's also the Share S20. This is like the better version of the C1 with an RTK unit and better cameras. So the C1 basically, I would say, okay, call it like has default mobile phone or fisheye cameras with like electronic shutter, whereas the S20 has like 1 inch or dual 1 inch camera sensors with mechanical shutters, which will simply provide like better pictures in dark lighting conditions and therefore also like better Gaussian splatting functionality. And the S20 has like this additional video camera used for better tracking. So for video slamming, the C1 already has like very good tracking, as I've seen in Pio and other tests, but this is supposedly still a lot better. And this is like €5,000 roughly. And then we have the S20 SE. This is like the Share C1 or the cameras of the Share C1 with the addition of like, or actually I'm a bit uncertain why there is like the default version without the RTK, because this is basically the Share C1, but you have like the connector for the RTK, which you suppose you can like retrofit, and then there's the version with the RTK, and the pricing is like very close together. So from my current standpoint, if I would have to pay like €4,000 for the C1, I pay €1,000 more and get the S20 and have like the good scanner, the proper stuff. Like this is one competition for the Raven. Then theoretically, there is the PortalCam of XGRIDS. So XGRIDS, they are like a very well-known 3D scanner manufacturer, LiDAR manufacturer. But one of the problems of PortalCam, so here. So until now, all the scans I've shown you, like the Raven and the Share, they can all output either point cloud for like proper, like I would say, engineering tasks. They can also output Gaussian splats used for like visualization or VR tours of objects. With the PortalCam, it's a bit different because, is there some shop where I can directly buy it? You can see it. The PortalCam is also like very competitively priced, and the Gaussian splatting performance is like looking way better than on the other scanners from what I've seen or from the sample data I've seen. But XGRIDS is like a smart company, and they still want to sell their more expensive, proper LiDAR scanners. So the PortalCam can only output Gaussian splats, no point clouds at all. Initially, I didn't realize this and was quite fascinated by it, but it cannot output point clouds, so for me it's instantly uninteresting. So this is one thing. And then maybe there are still some by FJDTrion, I think it's called. Yes, that's the company. They also have some budget LiDAR scanners. So firstly, you have like the, I would say, bit more budget, bit less budget LiDAR scanner. This is, I would say, competition to the Share S20. It costs a bit more, so it costs roughly, I think, €8,000. Or it costs significantly more if you're coming from the Raven price point. but it has like way better, I would say, SLAM functionality. So with the Share S20, if using the RTK functionality, you're only using the RTK for fusion or for the slamming, or for the, I would say, data optimization. In the here in the Trion P2, you can using all combined, and this will provide way better output data quality when using RTK. But software licensing is a bit different. So with the Share S20, for example, you can just download the Share Studio software. So it's like the companion software on the PC. You don't need to log in. You don't need a license. You can use it on as many computers as you want. Whereas with the Trion P2, you're like locked to one computer. So the software is free, but it's locked to one computer with the purchase. And if you want to change computers, you have to contact the support. So this is the first option, roughly, I would say, 8,000 or 9,000 euros from my memory. And then there's now also like the budget solution of FJDTrion. It's a bit of a wild unit. So as you may have noticed, this is also using the LiVox LiDAR scanner, LiVox unit. And now with the Trion V4E, it's a bit different. So you have like you buy a plastic handle with the LiDAR unit in the front, and on the back side you have like a mounting or a springy mounting bracket for an iPhone. It must be an iPhone, because the iPhone is using its cameras for the texture mapping. And then there's also the option with an RTK, so it's basically a bit of a mesh up of the different hardware that they sell. From what I've seen, so Payo has done some very great testing of the P2 and the V4E, so maybe just look at his videos if you're interested. But this one without the iPhone roughly costed as much as the Share S20, as this one, or then as the S20 SE. So I'm not totally convinced why you should get this, because also like the point cloud or color point cloud mapping looked way worse than on the Share scanners in his testing. But yeah, I would call this a video now, or an end. Maybe my final result is I'm very interested seeing actual results of the Raven in the wild. I'm a bit skeptical it will be as good as the competition, but I may be surprised. But I'm actually quite happy it's out there as a product now, because someone has to pull the price down. Because before the Eagle last year, 2 years ago, I would say it was quite a market disruptor. So beforehand, all the manufacturers were happy producing high-priced equipment for the industry. And with the Eagle, I think the Kickstarter pricing was also something like $2,000 or $2,500. They finally created this, or they initiated this lower-priced tier of scanners, or lower-priced market of scanners, and the performance in this lower price bracket is still very good. So I'm quite happy or quite interested to see it in the wild. And maybe I will try to get a hand on a unit and compare it to the C1. But at least for the C1, I will share my findings and my scan results with you.